To welcome you to my channel, Fly Like Me PhD, where I help Black women, of course, to live or move abroad. I have traveled to 45 countries and I have lived in 6 of those countries. One of the countries I lived in was Colombia, and I'm here to tell you all about that. So, I lived in Colombia for 1 year, and that's what we'll be talking about today. Let's get into it. First, I want to let you all know that this is a response video to Roshida Dowe's video. She helps women take a career break, and she made a video called Moving Abroad on a Budget. So we are responding to that video, which will be linked to the description at the bottom if you would like additional information. So the question that we're answering today is, where can I live in Colombia on a budget? I will be discussing 5 cities in Colombia that you can live in that are affordable. I'll be pronouncing these cities in both English and Spanish just so that you have that information in your toolkit. So, as I go ahead and talk about this, know that every city that I mention, this information is from Numbeo. I will also link that into the description in case you are interested and you would like to go back and figure out what specific website that was that you can go to get additional information. All right, so we are ready to begin. Just so that you know, I might look up like this just to look at my notes because it's a lot to remember and I just don't want you to forget. If you are interested in this content, please like it, please subscribe, and please comment. I would love to hear from you. All right, so the first place that we're talking about that is the most affordable option is called Valledupar, Colombia, or Valledupar, Colombia. So this is where I lived for an entire year in 2022, and I had an apartment that was $200 for a 1 bedroom apartment per month. So pretty affordable compared to the prices in the US and how much we have to pay for apartments. In this apartment building, it was myself, and there were maybe about 2 to 3 other people living there. There was someone that was an engineer. There was another person that was a medical doctor. There might have been 10 apartments total in the building, but there were only about 3 or 4 of us living there at the time. I mention this to you all because I want to try hard not to take away from housing from locals. So I lived in a specific area that a lot of locals were not living in. To this day, they still have maybe 5 apartments that are available because there are way cheaper options in Valledupar. So an option that is cheap is called like a boarding house situation. And in a boarding house, it is called a pension. That's what they call it in Valledupar. And it's when one person is over the entire house and everyone can have their own individual room. You will have your own bathroom within that room, your bed in that room. You have a lock to the door, but it will be like a common housing situation because you can use the kitchen, you can use the dining room. There will have common lounge areas that everyone shares. And depending on who is in charge of the housing option, they will let you know if they have restrictions on who can cook in the kitchen or when you can cook. If they have restrictions, typically they will cook for everyone in the house. You can also let them know if you have any dietary restrictions and they can cook specifically to that, or they will just allow you to cook for yourself in that kitchen. So you definitely want to check that out if you're interested in affordable housing. However, one of the issues about Valledupar is they don't have a lot of visibly Black people. So when I say that, I mean people that look like this, that look like myself. They have a lot of people that might have someone that looks similar to Black people in their family or someone that is Afro-descendant. However, the people that you will see in real time do not necessarily look visibly Black. So a lot of people would tell me all the time, Maya, oh my gosh, you look just like my grandma, or oh my goodness, my grandfather has your hair, but I would never see that person in real time in Valledupar. So this is not really a space if you want visibly Black people to be interacting with Black people all the time that you want to be in. Also, another thing that people don't really like about this area or can be kind of complicated is it's really, really hot. We're talking about it gets all the way up to 90, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, could be even more than that. And this is all year round. The lowest that it gets is about 75 degrees. When I was there, Colombian people will always say que calor, or there would be constant questions about how I was dealing with the heat because it is a very, very hot place. Everybody had a fan in their house, even though there was air conditioning. As you all know, it costs to turn on air conditioning. And so we literally had to sit in front of a fan just to not sweat that day. And it was like you weren't even doing anything. This was not a workout. You were just sitting having a conversation. You could have been cooking a meal, but if that fan was off, you were sweating. And so this tends to be one of the disadvantages to living in Valledupar, is that it can be extremely, extremely hot. But it does have green spaces. It has parks if you're interested in that. And they have a river that people sit by, they hang out, they'll bring their friends to. You can also get into the river. So there are some advantages. They have some very welcoming people. I met a woman that allowed me to stay with her for an entire month. She was a recommendation from a friend that I met in the space, and she was fantastic. I still talk to her 2 years later. I go to visit her when I return to Valledupar. So there definitely are really, really wonderful people there. But if you're looking for Black people and if you're looking to not be as hot, this may not be the place for you. Okay, so I'm just checking my notes to see that I got everything regarding that. I will mention to you, some people go to Santa Marta or Santa Marta, which is close by, relatively close by to Valledupar, because it has a lot of beaches. So if you're interested in beaches, it definitely has that for you. All right, so we are moving into the second most affordable option for you in terms of housing. That option is going to be Cali, Colombia, or Cali, like California, Colombia. And this place is going to cost about $260 per month for a one-bedroom apartment. So if you are interested in something affordable, if you're looking for Black people everywhere, this is the place you want to be. There are Black people all around. You don't have to look, you don't have to search, they right there. And just very kind people in general. This area is a little hilly, which can be a disadvantage for some people. You have cars that are like going up a hill just trying to get you to your Airbnb. You walking up the hill, you might fall back down. It is a hilly place. So if you don't like hilly things, if you don't want to be walking all the time, walking upstairs, this may not be the place for you. But know that it is very welcoming. They have a park that has local activities at it. So if you're interested in doing activities, the park is right there. There's lots of souvenirs if you're interested in buying those. And so Cali could be a really good place, I think. And it definitely has affordable options, and it has a nice Airbnb and apartments. I stayed in a really nice Airbnb that kind of had like a patio situation, like an outdoor situation. And it was really beautiful and it was really nice. So it's up to you on what you're looking for, but this could be a good option if you want something that is affordable. In terms of the degrees, it's going to go from about 75 degrees to about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So if that works for you, Cali might be a good option. Okay, so the third place that we're talking about, and let me also just mention one more thing. Cali is known for having El Gato del Rio, and that place is the cat park, and a lot of people go to see different cat statues, where people have done really artistic things to these cats and drawn on the cats and have really just shown their artistic creativity. So if you're interested in looking at that, that is a place you want to check out. So the third place that we're talking about today is going to be Bogotá, Colombia, or Bogotá, Colombia. This is not Bogota. We should not pronounce it Bogota. That might be what it looks like, but it's pronounced Bogotá or Bogotá with an accent mark over the A at the end. So bonus points if you say Bogotá when you're there. All right, so this place is going to cost $415 per month for a one-bedroom apartment. Bogota is the hustle and bustle. It has lots of people there. It has tourists all over. This is the capital of Colombia. So there's a lot of people coming through. They have a huge main airport here. So you will see people constantly coming through, and they have a lot of options. They have a lot of housing options, and it is a space where there's a lot to do. The disadvantage of this space is they take advantage of tourists sometimes, and it's specifically the taxi drivers. They recognize that if you are unfamiliar with the space, they can upcharge you to take you down the street. Even when I had lived in Colombia for 6 months, I went to Bogota and this dude charged me like 10 additional dollars to get down the street when I knew it didn't cost that. I did not argue with this man because I'm like, maybe he needed them $10. That's fine with me. But just be aware of the fact that they might upcharge you. So there is an app called InDriver, and you can use that app to type in how much you want to pay for a specific ride. It will tell you approximately how much it should cost you to get from one place to another, and the taxi drivers will honor that price and not charge you anything over that. The negative about the app is that it just takes time. You could be waiting for 5, 10, 15 minutes for a taxi where there could be a taxi driver just right there looking at you, looking at you, looking at him, looking at you, looking at him, looking at you, ready to take you right then and there. But that person might also upcharge you. Okay, so in terms of this, there is also not a lot of Black people in this space, unfortunately, and it can be pretty chilly. So compared to other places in Colombia, especially places that are on the coast, you're coming from places that are like 70 degrees, 80 degrees, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, and then you get to Bogota and it's like 56 and it feels like you're freezing. It is so frigid compared to other places in Colombia. So if you're okay with it being a little frigid, being a little cold, just getting your little jacket, you ready to go. But if you don't like cold, this might not necessarily be the place for you. So there's so much to do in Bogota, obviously, because this is a main area and it also has that airport. So it has the largest LGBTQ club in South America. If that matters to you, it has lots of clubs in general. My sister and I actually went to a club on Christmas and had a wonderful time. And it was like right by the airport. So they have a lot of options if you want to go out to clubs, if you like to dance. They have lots of restaurants if you're interested in that. And they have flea markets. So I took my sister and I took my mom to a flea market and we got souvenirs on souvenirs on souvenirs. There were so many souvenirs. We did not have enough room for all those souvenirs. So we're talking they have clothing and they have swag. If you want to be dripped out, they have that. If you want things to take back to people, they've got scarves and they've got jewelry. Just a vast amount of options that you can see in Bogota. Really, really great for souvenirs if you're interested. All right, so now we're going to get into our fourth place that we're talking about, and that place has many names. So let's get into the names. Number 1 is Medellín. Number 2 is Medellín. Number 3 is Medallo, Colombia. Or in English, it is Medellín, Colombia. This place, it has a focus on Blackness. They have Afro-Latin festivals all throughout the year that are super fun. I attended one and it had black on black on black. It had people with afros and locks and braids and weaves. We had people with dresses and suits, masculine, feminine, like all different types of Black energy were in that space. And we also had Black people selling things from their Black businesses. So Medallo has options in terms of Blackness, very connected in terms of that. And you can be guaranteed to see one Black person a day if that Black person is a local, if that Black person is a tourist, if that Black person is an expat. And as a result, a lot of Black expats are moving to Medallo to live there because it does have a presence of Blackness. Now, Blackness doesn't like take over the space. You will see a few Black people here and there, but it won't be like Black people are everywhere. But there are specific events in Medallo specifically geared toward Afro-Latin people. And there are specific events that Black expats are having as well that you can connect with in the space. So, going back to the notes, they have tourists from all over the world. They have locals there, obviously, people that are living there that are really wonderful and very kind if you need help with Spanish. There are some places that are like, girl, you should have showed up and you should have already known the language. This is not one of them. They're very open, very patient with helping you learn Spanish. They also have lots of food options, so many good options. They got vegan options, vegetarian options, if you want meat, options of food from different places in the world. I mean, they have really, really good food. I know someone that lives there and he said my favorite place is the food. So if you want good food, this is where you need to be. Are you a foodie? Get into Medallo food because they have options. Also, if you're a person that is working remotely, they have a lot of cafes. They have cafes where you can work from, where if you're a person that works from home, you can just sit there, work in a cafe. It's really nice vibe. I went to so many cafes. They had good food. They had like light music. Other people were working. I mean, it was really giving if you're looking for a cafe or need somewhere to work, but you also want like a quiet feel. This is the place for you. Then they also have a very historical place. It is called Comuna 13 or Commune 13. This is extremely historical to Medallo. You definitely want to check out this place. It is beautiful. It is also hilly. Medallo in general is a hilly place in general, but it's more spread out. It has a lot of room for you to just be able to be there and to get to know things. And Comuna 13 is a place that a lot of people go because they will tell you a lot of history about Colombia at large and about this city. In terms of the temperature, it can range from about warm to cold. So this is a good option. All right, the final option, number 5 that we're talking about today is Cartagena, Colombia, or Cartagena, Colombia. So this place is very, very historic. You're going to pay about $685 to have an apartment here per month. And even though this is the most expensive of the options that we are discussing today, it is still very affordable when you compare it to US living, where we might pay $1,000, $2,000 per month for our apartment. But if you get out of the touristic area, you can probably find more affordable housing. So in terms of Cartagena, here is where they took enslaved Africans and introduced them to Colombia. We are so sad that that happened, obviously, to the people that were there. But as a result, there are a lot of Afro descendants in Cartagena. You do not have to search for Black people. They are everywhere, living their lives, thriving, making the most of the situation. As we know, as Black people, we can take negative situations and turn them into something great. And that is what people of Cartagena have really, really done. They are there living their lives and you can see them. This place is going to be very touristic, however. There's lots of beaches. There are big beaches. There are small beaches. There are beaches you can take a taxi to. There are beaches that you can take a boat to. I was on a private beach that also had a smaller beach on it. You could also stay overnight. They had like some hotel rooms. And then we also got to sit out on the beach. And we just took a boat out there and we did an all-day trip and then went back. So definitely if you love beaches, this is a place to go. And if you want to see Black people, this is where you want to go. However, this place is going to be hot. So if you do not want something that's hot, this is not the option for you. All right, so let's do a recap of all that we have learned today. Number 1, most affordable place is going to be Valledupar, but not necessarily have a lot of Black people. Number 2 is going to be Cali, Colombia, and it has lots of Black people. It's very affordable, but it is going to be hilly. Number 3 is going to be Bogotá. Bogotá, it has a lot that you can do. Sometimes they might take advantage of tourists, and there's not going to be a lot of Black people there. Number 4 is Medellín, Colombia, and in this space, you're going to get your Black expats. You're going to get a lot of Black culture if that's what you're looking for. Have great things to do, has lots of food options, good options also for housing. And number 5 is going to be Cartagena, which is going to be the least affordable of these options, but the most one of an affordable option compared to the US. It's going to be touristic, but it's also going to be very historical. You can live outside of the touristic places if you want more of a feel of what it's like. All right, you all, we have made it to the end. We did it. We talked about these 5 wonderful cities in Colombia. You also know how to pronounce them in Spanish, so extra points to you if you go there and you do that. All right, at this time, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, and please comment. So what I would like you to do is comment down below and let me know what your favorite city in Colombia is, or a city that you're interested in visiting in Colombia. And then I would like you all to look out for my next video. It's going to come out in November, and we are talking about country scouting, the pros and cons to living in Williamstad, Curacao, which is the capital. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.